Okay, very briefly, I want to talk about Marlin Schmidt because Marlin Schmidt, Advanced Education Minister, he's not known necessarily for going off script. He can be pretty snarky in question period, absolutely. But is he known for just giving a scrum with colourful comments? No, he's not known for that. I scrummed him on the way into Cabinet Inns on Monday. I was the only one there for whatever reason. There was something else happening at that point. What was it? I'm sure it was very important. But Marlin Schmidt came up, and on his way into Cabinet, I was like, hey, how's it going, Minister? I have been very sick over the past week. I've not been following the news because I've been trying hard to not die instead. So I didn't know a lot of stuff that had happened. He said he actually hijacked me into interviewing him. I got insed at Inns, basically. He said, oh, Graney, so I assume you want to talk to me about the University of Alberta and their budget. I'm like,
yes, I do, sure.
And he goes, probably. I mean, they just voted that they're going to cut their budget by 4%. And I'm like, did they? When was that? And he was like, on Friday? Oh, I assume you have thoughts about that, do you? And he's like, I do have thoughts about that. Would you like to hear my thoughts about that? I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not, Minister? Let's hear your thoughts about that. And then he proceeded to go and basically just crap on David Turpin, the president of the university, and say he was lining his pockets and not taking a pay cut when they're going around and making all these cuts at the university.
Well, not to mention raising fees on residents
Yes.
and international students
Right.
as well.
Yeah, so he told you that Turpin was lining his pockets.
Yes.
He told Michelle Bellefontaine of the CBC that Turpin was rummaging in the pockets of the students. He was sort of sort of like, what has it got in its pockets? Now, there is certainly an argument to be made that David Turpin is extremely well compensated. His total he gets a base salary of $500,000 a year, but he gets a very nice house to live in and pension benefits, and it's all calculated to be worth effectively $824,000 a year, which is, more than 8 times what I will ever earn.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it is significantly less than his predecessor, Indira Samarasekera, made, and it's the amount that he negotiated with the previous Board of Governors. So we have a history in this province. Fred Horne, when he was the Minister of Health, got really mad at how much various executives at Alberta Health Services were making, and he told the board of Alberta Health Services to do something about those contracts, and the board said, well, we can't. Those are contracts. And so he fired the board, and then he found out that in fact breaking contracts is really expensive. So I don't know
breaking news.
I don't know what the heck was up with Marlin Schmidt, but what is his point when he says Turpin is lining his pockets? I mean, that sounds like malfeasance. Does he want the board to break the contract? On what basis?
Basically, he wants us to come back to the review, right? Saying that these people are making too much money and Albertans don't like it when publicly paid officials make a ton of money.
But a school board or a government board is different from a university. Universities have been granted in law and in cultural tradition tremendous autonomy. The government appoints a board of governors. It happens to be chaired by Michael Fair, who's not exactly, he's not exactly anti-New Democrat. I mean, Michael Fair is the chair of the Board of Governors. Turpin doesn't set the budget. The Board of Governors approved the budget. The Board of Governors says that the university has a $14 million structural deficit, that they have to address it, that they're asking for a 4% cut in discretionary spending only, because they can't cut money that the government gives that's tied to specific programs. So Turpin's already cut executive salaries by 16%. This will be another 4% cut from administration as well as from other things. I mean, I understand the minister's frustration. I think the university's admin is top heavy. I think that they pay too much money to people to push paper and not enough money to the people who actually teach the classes. That said, there'll be another contract with a new board of governors, and in the meantime, to somehow make it sound like Turpin is literally stealing money from people. I mean, frankly, if he gave up his whole dang salary and just, sold pencils outside his pretty house in Glenora, that still wouldn't do anything to balance the university's budget.